Hi, this is Ingrid Auer. I'm from Austria, from Europe. I'm a spiritual teacher and seminar leader, and I like to travel around the world, meeting very nice people, also spiritual people. And on one of my travels, I met a very interesting woman in California. Her name is Dr. Amber Wolf. And today she is my guest, and I will talk with her about Lemuria and Lemurian Sisterhood. So, Amber, so nice to be connected with you.
Thank you, Ingrid. Yes, Amber Meleha Wolf here in Arizona in the United States. And it is a spectacular, beautiful desert winter day. And I am very happy to be connecting with you again, Ingrid. It's been 2 months since I was in Switzerland with you. And so much has happened, certainly in the world, and then in the lives of the people that are our family, our global family.
Absolutely.
So it's great to be here with you to talk about some of the things that we can, the gifts that were given to help us in these changing times.
Yeah. So your personal story is probably very inspiring for many women, and Amber is very well known among the Kryon family and Kryon fans and friends. So my first question to you, Amber, is how did you get in contact with Kryon and with Carroll?
I love telling this story because it's been many, many years, and every year there's a new chapter to the story. And it's in looking back that we see how we end up where we are, and how the tapestry of our life is woven by seemingly coincidental threads over time. And I've always been on the spiritual path. I spent many years living in the wilderness in Alaska because I was burned out on organized religion, and I found the spiritual path again there through nature. I lived in an ashram for many years, and I moved to Colorado after that, and just was still seeking. And I was in a used bookstore seeking in the metaphysical book section on a summer day, and I was just browsing the metaphysical books, and I reached up to touch one, and a different one fell down and hit me in the foot. And I had sandals on because it was summer, and the binding hit me, and it got my attention. And it was Kryon, book 1. And so I took the message from that, and I bought the book, and I read it, and that was in 1989, and that was my first connection with Kryon. Not Lee Carroll, but with Kryon. And it was 10 years later that I met Lee. And that was also very synchronistic. My brand new husband at the time, Sid Wolf, was a friend of Lee's, and Sid had moved to Colorado where I met him. And Sid and I went to the Summer Light Conference in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I met Lee. And immediately, I just liked this guy so much. And he was kind and warm and funny and just a real person. And that was before I heard him channel. And the message from Kryon about honoring the human really got me. I felt a feeling inside that I had never known before as a person that was part of organized religion. So that really not only got my attention, but it made me want to know more about what this Kryon being was talking about. And so I began, reading the books, and of course there wasn't a website then. There was barely an internet, And I just followed him. And I did the Journey Home workshop, which is based on Kryon Book 5 by the same name. And that was also another big awakening for me, because you get your feet washed in the Journey Home, which is now called the Discovery Workshop. And I've never had my feet washed. It's not a part of anything in all of my spiritual searching I've ever done. And that was a huge, I had to really open up to receive that much honoring. And I had to let go of a lot of my past inability to have any self-esteem. So this energy just kept building every year. And one year, Lee asked if I would host him in Colorado, because his host was going into a different business and couldn't do it. And of course I said yes, even though I'd never done anything like that, which just hasn't stopped me. I haven't learned yet. And that took my relationship with Lee to another level. And then he asked me if I would be a producer and facilitator at the Discovery event. And of course I said yes to that, even though I hadn't done that. And really what I feel like, Ingrid, is that each one of these things that happen is another pebble that Spirit kind of drops on the path for me to follow. And like Hansel and Gretel, right? And so one thing built on another. After hosting Lee and doing the Discovery, then he asked me if I would do these 2-day weekend workshops with him in the US and Canada. And I, of course, said yes. And after doing that for a couple of years, I had what I call an Akashic awakening, where the part of me that was and is Meliha, the Lemurian priestess, came awake. It was shown to me, that lifetime was shown to me in great detail. And it was Lee's interpretation of the experience, the actual awakening experience, that filled in the gaps for me, because I had no idea what an Akashic awakening even was. So from there, the Lemurian Sisterhood started building. And the first Lemurian Sisterhood meeting was in South America, because we were there for the 11-11-11 celebration. And the first, it wasn't called the Lemurian Sisterhood yet. It was a woman's gathering, because Lee said I should do that and let's awaken together. Let's have more of this. And it was received with so much enthusiasm that, we had to go from the room we had planned to be in to a bigger room. And, the fact that I had never had a circle like that, and I didn't speak the language that it would be in, was not really a deterrent. I just trusted that Spirit had a plan here and was putting another pebble in front of me.
So what can women imagine if you speak about Lemurian Sisterhood? What is the focus? What is the aim? What is the expression? How could join your group, because you have different global groups around the world in different countries. If people or women feel attracted by the name Lemurian Sisterhood, maybe something is vibrating when they hear this name, what can they expect, or what is it?
I believe that since 12/21/2012, there have been so many openings and awakenings for people. And the Lemurian Sisterhood is one of the vehicles that helps nurture that awakening and expand those openings. And sometimes you're absolutely right. People hear the name and they say, yes, I want to know more about that. And sometimes it's because of the word Lemurian, and sometimes it's because of the word sisterhood, sometimes both. So the whole process of growing it has been incredibly beautiful and organic, and certainly supported by Kryon, because when there's a meeting, when Lee and I are doing the 2-day weekends in the US and Canada and in different places in the world, when we were in New Zealand and had a Lemurian Sisterhood. When we have those meetings, there is a Kryon channel to start the meetings. And in those channels, which are on my website, amberwolfphd.com, you can hear several years of these channels that have the history of Lemuria, the history of the Lemurian Sisterhood, the involvement of the Pleiadians in the spiritual creation of Lemurian beings, people. You have Meliha and her role as the Lemurian priestess. You have the society. What did the men do? What about the children? What about the ceremonies? So all of that information is there. What we do now in meetings, we have day-long meetings, we have several day meetings, and we have these 2.5-hour sacred circles that I get to do with women all over the country. They're every weekend, every 2-day weekend that I'm with Lee somewhere, we do these circles, and it begins with the Kryon channel, and we have also a transmission from the Pleiadian star mothers that comes through me. And then we have an activation or initiation. We do a lot of celebrating each other's sacredness, and we just celebrate in song and dance at the end of the circle. And it's so uplifting, and it's a wonderful way for women to create community with people that may live in the same area, or people that they just feel drawn to, because you're spending the weekend together. And there's a lot of connection there. And I might add that you don't have to come to the Kryon event to come to the sacred circle in the evening. So if for some reason you can't make it during the day or on the weekend, you're also welcome to sign up. The signing up happens on Saturday during the day, and then the meeting's usually around 7:30. Now, from that, many women have said, well, we don't want just one meeting every 2 years when you come through here. How can we have more? And so I've created a program called the Lemurian Sisterhood Hosting Program, and it is for women that want to make a commitment to hosting these meetings in their area once a month. And we now have 15 women around the world. We have Europe, we have South America, we have the United States, we have Canada, and it's a beautiful global group of women who have felt the calling, who have said yes to bringing this energy of sacred community to their area. And I bless every one of them, because each one are unique individuals that are creating these beautiful sacred circles that call all kinds of goddesses to the circle. And it just keeps growing. We also have Facebook communities. We have the Lemurian Sisterhood Global Group. That's a private group. You have to apply to be accepted, which women are. And you are welcome to post your Lemurian questions and experiences there. for me and for other people to see and respond to. We also have the each one of the local hosts in the U.S. and outside of the U.S., the rest of the globe, have Facebook pages, so you can inquire there, and you can find a list of all the different hosts on my website under Find a Sacred Circle Near You.
Mm-hmm. And
so I think I answered that question.
Yes, and I felt very honored when you asked me to channel a Lemurian Sisterhood symbol and to channel a Lemurian Sisterhood or essence, which are also very, people are also very interested here in Europe, and there are so many women who never heard about Lemurian Sisterhood, but when they see the symbol or they spray, they say, "Oh, I could fall into this energy." This is amazing. And then I tell them, "Do you know what is Lemurian Sisterhood? Do you know who is Amber Wolf?" And they say, "No, tell me. I can feel the vibration." So this Lemurian Sisterhood is also going around the world by the help of this symbol and this essence, and it's very interesting, and I feel very pleased that I could support this project or this energy a little bit.
You know, it was a perfect contribution, Ingrid, and I thank you so much, because that's one of the things about a global sisterhood is each beautiful woman brings something unique, each one of us. And you've brought the symbol and the spray, and you know, everyone brings something. And you know, of course, we have a particularly beautiful and very special connection that's lifetimes old, and I so appreciate that we get to play together like this.
Absolutely,
together. And I get to see you at the Kryon event that I host in January in Colorado. So you will be there then, and I'll be excited to see you.
Yes, and I'm excited to come to your place and to be invited by you. It's a big honor for me. And, you know, I like to go to America. I like the Americans. I like the country. For me, it's like a little bit like coming home. I think in past lives, I have been one of the pioneers across the country, maybe from Europe, finding new places, settlements, and so on. This is when I come, especially to Arizona and or Texas. This is something I feel very common to this. It's not an explanation in my mind. I cannot explain, but this is a kind of feeling that I have been there in past lives, I think. So I'm really, really curious to learn more about your place where you have lived for such a long time. And I would like to say thank you, Amber, for your friendship, for your wonderful work. And I'm really happy to reunion with you in February 2018. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Goddess. Namaste.
Namaste.